But seeing as how I have never played sports with him, I have never seen him break character. So, let me just say that. But I do find it interesting that the people that God has placed in a position of authority in this house is someone who loves peace and someone who can endure injury with great grace. He is such a mercy person, such a grace person. And I love that that's what God has placed in this house. As such, I believe we as a body have a calling in those areas in a very strong and specific way. I believe God has called us to be purveyors of peace. And I believe that He has called us to endure injury with patience, without resentment. I believe that there is a spirit of strife that has been released on the planet in the earth today that combats that every single waking moment. If you look around you right now in the earth, you don't see a lot of meekness. You don't see a lot of peace seekers in the world. And I believe God is calling us to something different. I believe God is calling us to walk around with a strong recognition of the fact that we've been forgiven for so much, so that we are ready to forgive the little that we often see as much. And this has just been rolling around in my spirit because I hate strife. I hate it. The Lord just began to open some things. The scriptures tell us that where there is strife, every evil work abounds. Think about that. Think about that. The word also tells us, for lack of a whisper, the fire dies down. What the Lord began to show me in my spirit is that strife begins with whispers. A whisper becomes gossip. Gossip becomes slander. Slander becomes frustration. Frustration becomes pain. Pain becomes malice. And all of a sudden, there's the screaming and shouting from the thing that once began as a whisper, because the spirit of strife is alive in the planet, and he loves to stir things up. But see, we are called to be lovers of peace, lovers of God. And instead, it gets me. The scriptures tell us that if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face, I will hear from heaven and will heal their land. Now, I understand that our land is not going to be fully healed until our King returns. But to the extent and to the point that it can be changed, we are called to facilitate that, I believe. But not facilitate it in the way that many would think. I believe the most powerful and the holiest thing that we can do in the face of conflict, in the face of anger, in the face of strife, very often is to remain silent and pray fervently. Pray fervently, not just remain silent. Let God hear your voice. Not the other people. They don't need to hear what you're upset about and angry about. Don't get me wrong. Talk to people if you need to talk to them about internal issues, things that are going on. Receive counsel. But let the whispers stop so that the strife can stop. So that the fire can go out. We can't put it out in the world. We can't put out the fires that are in the world. But we can walk with a sense of peace and a sense of integrity, a sense of covering and forgiveness in our lives that allows us to walk in a grace that forgives those who offend us and lets it go.